Gordon Moore was one of the founders of the Intel Corporation. And then in the 1970s, he noticed that the number of working parts in their computer chips, transistors, was doubling at a very regular interval. About a year, year and a half, 2 years. And he plotted this on a graph to try to make a prediction of where the company was going. And this measure of progress of computing technology became known as Moore's Law. And one way to think of it is that you can buy a computer with twice the memory, twice the speed, for the same price if you wait about 2 years. Now, there's a lot of discussion on the internet now that Moore's Law is dead. I hear this all the time. And I think nothing could be farther from the truth. Computers haven't even gotten started. The internet hasn't even gotten started. And AI is only just beginning. For those of you who remember the AOL era of the internet, the dial-up era of the internet, or maybe even CompuServe and bulletin boards before that, that's sort of where we are with AI, right? When you got the free AOL disk in the mail, 100 hours to get on the internet, try to hook you on there. AI hasn't even started. And if we were to go back to the AOL era and explain smartphones and apps and social media and TikTok and YouTube and so on, it would be almost unimaginable. This is what's happening with AI now. The pace of change that we're going to see in the next 2 years, 3 years, is going to be almost unimaginable. And this idea that Moore's Law is over or ending, it's not true. It's not possible. Now there's technical things like something called Dennard scaling of shrinking transistors and smaller, and you get quantum effects and so on. Well, you see, the thing is that the chips are going into 3D. You're getting multiple cores. GPUs have thousands of cores. And the type of revolutions that we're going to see in computing in the next few years, in terms of optical, things like spintronics, new information processing methods, doing the computing rate inside the memory. This is going to radically change. And it's going to make the devices you're watching this video on look like phonographs. Only a few years ago, AI was something that sounded like it was out of the movies. There wasn't very much money being poured into it. And more importantly, there wasn't much brain power being poured into it. But the biggest shifts we've seen in the last year or so is what I call the cat's out of the bag effect. It's not that AI was invented. Some of these mathematical formulas are nearly 100 years old. But now people know that when you scale them up, and if you throw some money at the problem, it works. I'm sure there's very little doubt in any of the viewers' minds that AI is important and here to stay. And so now the floodgates are open. And I think we're going to see double exponential progress. Previously, all the greatest minds going into school studied medicine and finance and law. Well, now there's this whole new academic discipline that's now very respectable, very serious, and very profitable. And it's AI research. And so this idea that things are going to slow down, I think, is a very, very wrong way to think about stuff. Assume it's going to speed up. Assume it's going to pick up and take off. It's going to get integrated into everything. Doesn't matter what your job is. Doesn't matter what career path you're on and what industry. AI is here to stay, and it's going to get involved in whatever it is you're doing. You're likely going to have AI colleagues at your round table at work. We're seeing the breadcrumbs of that in terms of opening up a chat GPT type window and getting some insight and copying it into an email and so on. But very quickly, you're going to see participants in your Zoom calls. You're going to see robots at your work table. And they're going to have very important insights that I believe are going to revolutionize the economy. Take us to multi-trillion-dollar economies, even at the state level, because of the efficiencies that we're going to see. When the digital computer showed up and the ability to run a database in a store or a hospital, it seemed far out. But now every hospital has an IT department. Every grocery store has the boop scanner. That took jobs away, right? Somebody used to add up all of those figures when you went with a cart full of groceries. There's some interesting footage you can find on the internet. I'll try to link to it, of contests of how fast the shopkeepers could add up the totals. Well, now all of that stuff's been automated. So what's going to be automated next? I want to hear about what industry you're in. Let me know how you're using AI now, and what your concerns are, and what your hopes are for how this could improve what you do on a daily basis, to be more productive, to be more resourceful, to be more efficient. Not just more bread for you to bring home, more bacon, but for the entire community that we live in. How can we see more efficiency, more happiness, hopefully more free time, better mental health, a cleaner, safer, happier, healthier world? That's the promise of AI. That's the promise of Moore's Law. And I think we're only just getting started on that. Let me know what you think.